Now we are going to discuss the concept of marginal costing. We have already discussed the classification of cost, behavior wise classification, and now we are going to show you how you will apply to this costing method. Okay, marginal costing, direct cost, marginal cost, variable cost, all are same terms. Actually, that part of the cost which is visible to the product itself, like say direct material. Say any product is produced by plastic. The raw materials is plastic, which is available in the product. It is visible to the product. When product is sold, the material is also go out. Direct labor, which I have already discussed. Marginal costing, how will apply? There is a term contribution. Actually, what is contribution? Contribution nothing but the difference of sell and variable cost. When we sell any product, we get revenue or sales value. It comes in. And the variable cost, that which I have just mentioned, visible to the product, which goes out. That product brings sell revenue and variable cost goes out, and the difference is the contribution provided by the product. That means you are getting this much of contribution by that product. Suppose the sell price of a product is rupees 100 per unit, and the variable cost for that product is rupees 80 per unit. If you sell that product in the market, then your 80 rupees will go out with the product. You will never get it. But that product gives you rupees 100 as sales revenue. The difference, that means the excess amount, that is 100 minus 80, the difference is 20, is contributing by that product. That is the concept of contribution. This contribution of 20 rupees per unit. Now suppose for a period, say 1 month, you are selling this product 100 units. Then how much contribution you will get? Each product will give you rupees 20 contribution, and that's why 20 into 100, that is 2000, will be received as contribution in your basket. Now, from that contribution amount which you have received with the help of the product, what you have to expense further? You have to bear the fixed cost for the period, or you can say the fixed overhead cost, which I have already discussed, like rent, legal expenses, whatever it may be, manager's salary. Suppose your fixed cost for the period is rupees 15,000. That means from the basket, 1500. From the basket of your contribution of 2000, you have to pay fixed cost 1500, and the remaining amount is the profit. This is the concept of marginal costing. That is, contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit, or you can say contribution minus fixed cost, and the difference is the profit. You can also say this. This is the contribution. This is the concept of marginal costing. Now, if the contribution is more than fixed cost, only then you will get profit, and which is contribution minus fixed cost. And if your total contribution is less than fixed cost, then you will not get profit but loss. Now, there is a special situation. If profit is zero, then what will happen? Profit is zero means there is no loss, no profit. You can say when it will occur when C is equal to F. If profit is equal to zero, if P is equal to zero, that means C is equal to F. That is when your total contribution is equal to fixed cost, then there is no loss, no profit, which is actually the definition of break-even point. We have already discussed previously that at break-even point, there is no loss, no profit. Hence, we can say at the break-even point, contribution and fixed cost are same. Now I am going to discuss through a numerical example. We are considering the manufacturing of a toy manufacturing company. The capacity of the toy manufacturing company is say 250 units per annum. Sale price per unit is 500 and cost price per unit means variable cost per unit is rupees 400. Fixed overhead is given for this company is rupees 10,000 per annum. We will discuss what is overhead cost, that I will discuss in detail later on. Now I am telling this is a fixed cost. Okay. You have to determine the profit per annum. A. B. Break-even point in units and break-even point sales for the toy manufacturing company by marginal costing method. How will solve this problem? It is shown here. Contribution per unit C, I have already discussed here, contribution sales minus variable cost. First, by finding out the contribution per unit, S minus V is the variable cost per unit, S is the sales price per unit. 500 minus 400, that is rupees 100 per unit is the contribution. It is assumed that the total capacity of the toy company is being sold in the market. That means whatever it is producing per annum, that is 250 units, the entire products will be sold in the market. Then what is the total contribution per annum? Contribution per unit is 100 and you are selling 250 units. That is total contribution fund you are receiving is 25,000. This multiplied. That means in your basket you are receiving 25,000 rupees contribution by selling the toys. And out of this you have to pay the fixed cost, and after paying the fixed cost, the surplus amount will be the profit. By formula, contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit. Hence profit per annum, this is the total contribution minus fixed cost 10,000, that is 15,000 rupees is a profit per annum. In this way, with the help of marginal cost, you can find out the total profit per annum. Now second question is, what will be the break-even point in units? Because the manufacturer is interested to know how much units it will produce, that it will be in no loss, no profit situation. If the unit produces more than break-even unit, only then it will get profit. Now we are going to find out the break-even point in units for the toy company. Total fixed cost is rupees 10,000 per annum. Each product contributes rupees 100. Then how many units required to produce and sell in the market so that you can get total 10,000 rupees of contribution to cover the fixed cost. Per unit gets 100 rupees of contribution, and to get 10,000 rupees contribution to cover fixed cost, simply divide 10,000 by 100, that is 100 units. If you produce 100 units in the factory and sell in the market, then you will be in the no loss, no profit situation. That is, it will be your break-even units. If you produce more than that units, that is, if you produce 101 units, then you will earn profit. You will start earning profit. This is done, which shows break-even point in units. The last question is, if you have to find out the break-even point in sales. Break-even point sales. How will you find out it? See, simply you multiply the sell price per units with the break-even units. Break-even units is 100 units. Per unit sell price is rupees 500, and for that reason the break-even sales will be 500 into 100, that is 50,000 rupees. 50,000 will be the break-even sales. That means if the sales figure reaches to 50,000 units, 50,000 rupees, then the company will be in no loss, no profit situation. This is the basic concept of marginal costing and application of break-even point concepts. Thank you. For the same problem, if rupees 2,000 profit is required, then how much unit is required to produce? This is the extension of the previous problem to get the clear idea about contribution and marginal costing as well as break-even point. The next one is, if the fixed cost is increased to rupees 11,000, then what will be the revised break-even point in units as well as sales? And the last one, if the variable cost is reduced to rupees 350 per unit, previous it was rupees 400 per unit, and the fixed cost remains same, that is 10,000 per annum, then what will be the sell in units and value required to get profit 2,500 units? All these are the related problems I am going to discuss to have the clear concept of marginal costing and its application. Later on, I will discuss in a separate video that I will determine the price in a competitive situation for a small business also, like fast food business or others, any product, that we will discuss later on. For that purpose, you should have the clear idea of contribution, break-even points, etc., etc., etc. Now, first I am going to solve the D. For the given problem, sell price per unit is rupees 500. Variable cost per unit is rupees 400. Fixed cost per annum is rupees 10,000. In this problem, it is asked, if you need to profit 2,000, rupees 2,000, then how much units in need to produce and sell. Again, I am repeating few basic concepts: variable cost, marginal cost, direct cost, all are same. Direct cost, variable cost. The concept is that cost which is attached with the product. Direct material is attached with the product. When product goes out, the material will go out. You will not get that material in future. Direct labor involved to produce the product. It relates the product. Direct expenses, sometimes some expenses are required to the product itself, like say you have to produce a hole on the product. That is an expense that is neither material, neither labor cost. Suppose any cost is required to give outsider or making the hole like that. So direct cost relates to the product. When you sell the product, that cost will go out. Against it, you will get revenue, that is sell. That I have discussed earlier. Another thing, after fixed cost, when anyone cover the fixed cost, whatever the contribution, that is equivalent to profit. Again, I am repeating. You are selling the product, getting the revenue, and your variable cost is going out. The difference is the contribution, and you have to find out the total contribution, whatever you are getting by selling the product. You can say a contribution fund or basket, and from that you are paying the fixed cost, and the residual portion is a profit. Now, I want to say that after covering the fixed cost, you need not to pay anything. Whatever the residual is the profit. Whatever the contribution remains in your basket is profit. That's why, how you solve this problem? You first determine how much contribution is required to get rupees 2000 of profit. How much contribution is required? You require 10,000 to cover the fixed cost and additional 2000 for profit. If you earn 12,000 contribution, then the breakup is you will pay 10,000 to the fixed cost and the remaining 2,000 will be your profit. That means how much contribution is required? 12,000 contribution is required to get 2,000 piece of profit. What you have done? Simply you add the required profit to the fixed cost, and the total amount is the required contribution. If you require 5,000 on profit, then how much contribution is required? 10,000 plus 5,000. 5,000 is the profit, that is 15,000 contribution is required. In this way, first you determine how much contribution is required. Now, you have already found out that contribution per unit is rupees 100. Sales minus variable cost per unit, that is contribution per unit. If you sell in the market 1 unit, then you will get rupees 100 surplus or contribution to your basket, contribution basket. And how many units you need to sell to get 12,000 of contribution? This is simply divide 12,000 divided by 100, that is 120 units. That means if you produce and sell 120 units of units and sell in the market, then you will get 2,000 rupees of profit. You can show it or you can check it by back calculation. That I am not going to show you here. I will show you the next problems. The check I will show the next. These are units, and if you want to know the amount of cell, then simply you multiply cells per unit. That is 100 units into 500. This is the cell price per unit. That is 60, and that is 60,000 rupees. Sale is required to get 2,000 rupees of profit. This is the answer for D. That you can check also by calculating separately. Now coming to the point, the next problem E. If the fixed cost is increased to 11,000, then what will be the revised break-even point in units and cells? If the revised fixed cost is 11,000, then the break-even point units will be, we have already, so you earlier, fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. That is 110 units. In that case, the break-even point will increase as the fixed cost, that is the fixed obligation, has been increased. Previously it was 100 units, now it will be 110 units. And in cell value, what will be the break-even cells? 110 into 500, that is 55,000 rupees. If you want to check is it correct or not, then you can show. I have shown you here the calculation. That if you sell rupees 55,000 rupees, then you will be in break-even point. That is no loss, no profit point. See, sale is 55,000 units. Per unit sale value is 500. That means you have sold 110 units. The variable cost per unit is 400. That's why total variable cost is 44,000. And the difference is contribution 11,000. And this contribution is required to cover the fixed cost. That is contribution minus fixed cost is equal to 0. There is no profit, profit is 0, and that is the break-even point. So it is checked that if you sell in value rupees 55,000 or in units 110 units, then you will be in break-even if the fixed cost is increased to rupees 11,000. Now coming to the last part of the problem. If the variable cost is reduced, say due to any reason the cost of material has been decreased, and for that the variable cost has been decreased to rupees 350 per unit in place of rupees 400 per unit. Okay. The fixed cost remains same as 10,000. Then what will be the sale in units and value required to get profit 2,500? So revised variable cost per unit is 350. Hence contribution per unit, sale price minus variable cost is equal to rupees. It is rupees 150 per unit. Desired profit is 2,500 and the fixed cost is 10,000. Hence to get desired profit, required total contribution is fixed cost plus desired profit, that is 10,000 plus 2,500, 12,500 contribution is required. If your product after selling gets 12,500 rupees of contribution in your contribution basket, then you will pay the fixed cost rupees 10,000 and the residual after paying the fixed cost 2,500 will be the profit. That means you need to earn 12,500 contribution to get rupees 2,500 profit. I have already shown you that the contribution per unit is rupees 150 here, and that's why the number of units required to produce and sell to get 2,500 profit is this 12,500 divided by 150. This is approximately 84 units. If you want to find out in rupees the sell value, then simply to multiply the units by sell value per unit of the product, and that is this amount. If you want to check this is correct or not, for that reason I have shown you here the calculation. I have shown the sell value required is 41,667. The sell value per 100, the sell value per unit is 500 rupees. If you divide this by 500, that means the unit sold is this, and per unit variable cost is 350. Hence the total variable cost is this. After selling, this much revenue is coming in to your organization, and this amount is going out with the product. Because variable cost is attached with the product, you will never get back it. What is the surplus? This minus this is this. This is the contribution, and you are getting this amount in your contribution box. And from that you are paying the fixed cost 10,000, and the remaining amount is 2,500. And this is the probably what you have desired, and it is checked, it is proved. In this way, we have got the basic idea of marginal costing, the term contribution, and how we will find out the profit by applying this technique, and how we take decision for getting a desired amount of profit, how we will calculate the break-even point, that is no loss, no profit point, which I have discussed earlier through graphically. Now I am discussing through numericals, and next I will develop some formulas, because always it is not practical to solve the problem in detail. Sometimes we have to apply the formula also. That's why I am going to discuss the formulas relating to break-even point, break-even sales, and also will develop the concept of PV ratio or profit volume ratio.